Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet again another episode of the DarkMatch. I am but one of many hosts, Ironbite. Dash, with me is...
And I'm Magpie, and if you want to beef, then bring the ruckus, because DarkMatch ain't nothing to fuck with.
You guys, for the first time ever, we are going to have a two-man show. Now, we tried to do Mondays live, but all our fans realized that we'd rather be on our home time of Thursdays at 9 p.m., so...
Fuck it, we're doing it live!
No, but yeah, Snowy, myself,
man.
a special guest that never been on the show might butt in throughout the episode.
But essentially, it's just me and Ironbite carrying this, and it's like an Iron Man match. The pressure's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pressure's on.
It'll be longer than 60 minutes, by the way.
So let's get to it. Here's this week's What's Iron Sheik tweeting now?
Dun, dun, dun. Take it away.
Steve Jobs was no Steve Lombardi or no Stevie Wonder. Iron Sheik, ladies and gentlemen.
He's comparing the famous Steves of the world.
Passing of
Whoa.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Lombardi, famous.
Hold on a second.
Well, it's just he's comparing Steves.
He's talking about the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah, he kind of...
Oh, I know.
I'm just wondering something. What did Iron Sheik tweet that off of? I kind of closed down the...
First he said, rest in peace, Steve Jobs, and then he said, like, as a tag onto that Steve Jobs was no Steve Lombardi or Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, I think he was saying, like, he was an upstanding man, and he had a vision, too.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God, there's a burn in that.
No. I was actually wondering what type of device Iron Sheik tweeted that off of, and it says via web, so he did not tweet it off of an iPhone. Like a certain other person who shall remain stupid. But that's another show.
Stupid, that leads us to
Magpie.
Impact.
Hey,
What's
Magpie.
up, Ironbite?
We get to talk about this week's episode of Impact.
Oh, you mean the Hogan We Love You special, where we get to see the greatest moments of Hogan's career? All four of them? Oh.
Yeah.
It's like, before we start, it's like, I expect watching Impact now, going into it, knowing that in some way they're going to stroke Hogan's ego, whether if it's just like a flimsy hand job or just a complete blow job. I watch an episode of Impact knowing they're going to stroke Hogan's ego, but holy shit, this episode was almost on Finding Hulk Hogan proportions. It just bugged me that much in terms of just like how much we got to, like, just kissing Hogan's ass. It was irritating.
The worst part is they took this week's episode of Impact on the road, so they're up in Knoxville, because why the fuck not? And so we get to see the really cool set design. Instead of just having the tunnel, now we've got these rising Titantron screens, which is so damn awesome looking.
Didn't they get
It wouldn't.
3 years ago?
Legitimately, though, that wouldn't be a bad thing to have. But problem is, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have those rising Titantron things or whatever the fuck they're called. But it's Impact, so it's like we can't even give them credit for like having that good. Yeah, there's other things you can be focusing on instead of a custom Tron.
Although it does lead to some interesting entrances later on, but I'll get into that. We'll get into that in a little bit. I do find it interesting that they have no clips whatsoever of Hogan wrestling, because all those clips are owned by Vince McMahon. How sad is that you can't even... You're talking about the legacy of one Hulk Hogan, and you can't even go, yeah, and here's Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant. Nope, we got to pay WWE royalties.
Well, here's Hogan winning the NWO. Here's Hogan in WCW winning the title from Ric Flair. Oh wait, we can't play that.
Here's Hogan betraying WCW and forming the NWO with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Oh, we can't play that either.
Here's Hogan redeeming himself by fighting The Rock in WrestleMania X8. Oh wait, we can't do that either. You get the folks. There's a lot of clips they can't show, and the 4 clips they do show are fucking sad. Especially now we know. It's safe to say that Hulk Hogan's legacy in TNA has completely been cemented as just a waste of time. I mean, we've all said it. So it's just fucking sad when you watch this.
Did they show
like everything that amounted to?
Did they show the clip of him getting hit in the head with a guitar by Jeff Jarrett?
Oh, that would have been cool.
That was
I
the
would have
one
liked that.
clip they own that they didn't show, which just amazed me. We'll get into the clips and probably. I'd say we get into it.
I say it throughout the show because they come very sparsely, and when we say sparse, there isn't that much, but they come out throughout the show. There isn't like a set thing. Although they do take their time between clips to show them. But let's just get on with the opening segment.
Right. Opening segment is a decent promo from Beer Money.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. I mean, it was just...
As we all know, Kurt Angle, because he has power, because he has the belts, because the belts mean power, even though they mean nothing, booked Bobby Roode to face each member of Fortune in an effort to try to break him down for Bound for Glory. He went through AJ Styles, Kazarian, Christopher Daniels no-showed, and now he faces his tag team partner, and probably the guy who's brought him the most success as a star since breaking away from Team Canada, James Storm. And amazing this promo, which could have gotten stupid. Let's be honest with ourselves.
It could have gone the right way.
Stupid. Actually came off kind of genuine, and they definitely put one another over. And I can buy James Storm's as a single star if he can keep that,
It's not a far off claim to believe that James Storm is a credible star. I mean, he has a talent. He does have good promo skills, but is TNA going to make him a credible star as he can be? No.
Yeah. Bobby Roode, they're definitely throwing all their eggs on. They're putting all their eggs in the Bobby Roode basket. In an effort to naysay the claims of the internet.
I actually have a popular theory about that, but go on.
But if this is the type of promos we're going to get from Bobby Roode, if he beats Kurt Angle at Bound for Glory next Sunday, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after, I actually want to see it. Go ahead, Magpie. What's your theory?
Well, I don't have any, I have full faith in Bobby Roode. I like Bobby Roode as a wrestler. Back in 2007, I wanted Bobby Roode to be in the main event picture because I really liked his skill. He's a very good worker, and not a bad promo. It's just, I don't believe TNA is going to really get behind him because my thing is, it's TNA. I can't really get excited for anything. It's just always just going to get, mishandled. And what I think is going to happen is in usual booking status, they're booking it right now they're just cool, they're cool. And they're not making it so obvious. This one they're actually being subtle for. But James Storm and Robert Roode are cool. And coming in the match with Kurt Angle, which I don't trust that match isn't going to be awful. I think that match is going to be pretty good. Angle is still worn out, but he can get out a good match in person. And Robert Roode's awesome. But the shenanigans that's going to ruin this match is James Storm is going to come in there somehow and screw Angle over, maybe join an Immortal or just have those feud. And they're going to be off doing their own thing. And Angle's going to be left with the events. What I see with the events and what's been said in the later part of the show, Angle's probably going to end up feuding with a redeeming Jeff Hardy. So all this stuff that we've been building on is going to be a colossal waste of time and probably break my heart. That's what I think's going to happen. Would I like to be proven wrong? Yes. Do I think I'm going to be? No.
Yeah. As we said, this promo is basically Storm and Roode putting each other over, going, we're just going to go out, we're going to tear this son of bitch down, and and Storm's interesting. He says, you know what? Maybe tonight I'm gonna prove that I'm just a bit better. So sorry about your damn luck.
And it was a good promo. If they did promos like this in the opening, where it's just, all right, let's get to the point. Let's make the match important. Let's make the wrestlers important. Let's push. Let's further whatever angle we have to do, and then let's get on to the wrestling. This is what they should be booking if they want to have an opening promo.
Right, instead of Bischoff, Hogan, and everybody else.
Yeah, this is your young talent that's going to be the future. If you want them to be credible stars, you're going to have to give them moments like that, and this was good. Yeah. Do I have faith that this is going to pay off in the way I like to see it? No, but this was good in showcasing both those guys. But let's get on to the
stuff. Yeah, and speaking of stuff that should never be showcased, there's Sting in a yellow and red suit
walking past the god-awful, like, display advertisement for clowns back in the day. It was like, a circa 1950 clown painting that you would see, like, in Saturday Evening Post.
1940. I'd even go 1940. It was just... I mean...
He walked past this... He walked past... I saw this part. It's like he walked past it like, do-de-do, wasn't that so ironic? He's a clown.
That was unexpected.
Yeah. What the fuck? What was the point of that? Oh, the point was Sting's a clown now? We kind of got that point. Move on. Speaking of moving on, we get the first of 4 Hogan clips.
And this was the one this is the one thing I like about this clip. This is the clip they first showed was when Hogan's first night in TNA, which isn't that. If you're starting a clip showing TNA, that's not the bad place to start. If you had other footage, it wouldn't be a bad place to start, but they don't. So it's kind of like, okay, how many more moments do we have? But you hear about, like, in the clips themselves, when you remember the time that they were made in and they're filmed and what they're talking about. Oh, Hogan promises to bring prosperity to the company and attention and this and that. And you're just like, damn, if only you can just tell these people how fucked they really are.
We have, actually, getting off on a brief tangent here, the footage of Hogan's debut in TNA isn't even accompanied by clips of the promo.
It wasn't. It was just him walking in the ring in TNA talking, wasn't it? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that was it. There was nothing about Hogan, and debuting or talking about how he's going to bring a new era to TNA. It was just him getting in the ring, doing the whole posing, and then
maybe it was a clever ruse to cover up, like, yeah, that stuff didn't happen, so we're not going to play that clip. We're just going to show him going there.
Yeah.
Because the next clip they did show, which wasn't right after it, but I'll just get it out of the way, because it kind of pertains to what we're talking about. The next clip they did show was Hogan getting in the ring with Abyss, and we didn't see any clips of that match. Now I wonder why. It makes Hogan look terrible.
No, well, we get to see, and you know what? We'll just run down the clips right now. The next clip that they'll show later on is Hogan wrestling with Abyss to against AJ and Flair, if anybody remembers that. And
I remember the match being horrible.
Right. So they're not going to show any of the match. They're just going to show, this is how exciting Hogan made TNA. He laced him up for one night only to help out.
And it sucked, and it means nothing because he's going to have a match soon.
Right. The next clip is Hogan basically telling Dixie Carter she's done. How the hell is that,
Okay, but I have to say one thing, though. The clips they didn't show, another missed opportunity. Why didn't they show any clips of, like, Hogan putting over or talking about the young stars?
Because there is none.
Because it's TNA.
Well, yeah, exactly. Of course, but at least there was clips of, like...
mysterious.
Oh my god, Lone's Warrior talked!
I know, it's amazing.
Debut!
Spoilers! But again, there's actually not 4 clips. There are 3 clips of Hogan doing nothing.
Oh my! I thought there was 4.
I thought there were 2. There's only 4. They don't show the formation of they. They don't show the formation of Immortal.
They forget their own continuity in a retirement angle, and they have the rights to that footage.
They don't even show any of the stuff. Hogan, oh my god, they so dropped the ball on this shit.
They dropped the ball, and it's very insulting because the clips they did show, and I don't want to go back to just like thinking in the time frame of when those clips were recorded. None of the stuff he promised or was said came to fruition at all. In fact, it was the exact opposite. But any smart wrestling booker of the past who was arguing about or fan in general who was just talking about him going to TNA would be a disaster. It might as well have been Nostradamus, just how well those predicted. God damn it, I'm babbling.
Yeah, you kind of are. Let's stop babbling and talk about an
Yeah,
actual
sorry, it's
wrestling
just
match.
Hogan clips. I apologize. No, it wasn't
Yeah,
the
we
Hogan
know.
clips. I fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
So-
Let's get to the first match, which wasn't that bad.
Yes, Kazarian versus Gunner. As, last week, Kazarian was beating down Jeff Jarrett because the Jarretts were insulting his wife. Gunner comes out and hits an F5 on Kaz.
A crappy F5. A crappy.
I know, it's nobody does an F5 like Brock Lesnar. Even when Brock Lesnar was
Tyler
doing
Black does a.
crappy ass F5s, they still look better than what Gunner does on his best day.
Well, to just be devil's advocate and promote a wrestler I like, Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, and FCW does a pretty solid F5. But I'm putting him over just because it's sick. I like that guy. But Brock, of course, is the undisputable king of that move.
Yeah, it just looks so powerful.
But the match itself with Gunner and Kazarian, Kazarian was going in with an injury. That's the point Iron Bite was making. I'm sorry to derail you off that, buddy.
There was apparently last week when Gunner hits the F5, which if anybody has ever watched anybody do an F5, you're slamming your opponent on his face. Apparently he injures his arm. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, okay, I thought his arm got injured in that F5 legit? I thought it got injured in this match legit.
No. It was weakened last week. And, according to the laws of wrestling recovery abilities, a week's time is not enough to heal a slight strain.
Whoa. I remember him distinctly taking the F5 by landing on his fucking knees.
Oh, wow. I have no...
it's the standing armbar, this bullshit.
Yeah,
okay.
but the Kaz has an injury. And going into this match, the Kaz
has an... You know what? Actually, it was not from last week. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Kaz makes mention that in the past, Kazarian has torn his bicep. That's
a little random bit of continuity.
This actually propels this match from, oh god, it's a Gunner match, to Gunner's using psychology?
And it would, to the sake of psychology and talking about the actual match itself, it wasn't a bad match. I mean, it was nothing super special, but it was not a bad match. This was the match I would have liked to seen, after Fortune broke off from Immortal. Say that whole big feud, Immortal versus Fortune, and say this was one of the little things that were a part of, the bigger picture. This match was one of the first matches in that series. I would have really liked it and cared about it more. Now it's just, But I can't really fault TNA too much for booking these two together because nothing for Gunner to do, nothing for Kaz to do, which is sad because Kaz should be, in the world title picture. But it's not really a bad booking thing where you're just okay, a really good dude with a okay guy in the ring. Let's book him in a match and put a feud around him. That's not really that bad of a booking decision. You got nothing for him to do, so put him in a match and then have him fill out your card.
Especially since Jeff Jarrett will not go near Kazarian. Let's be honest with ourselves there. Jeff Jarrett will have nothing to do with Kazarian. Like we said, Gunner actually used some psychology. He targeted the arm that Kazarian tore his bicep arm pretty consistently during the match. And basically, if you've ever watched a Kazarian match, Kazarian relies a lot on his arms to set up a lot of his moves. That's not his entire repertoire, but it is a huge part of his offense.
Well, when you think about it, all wrestlers use their arms for their offense and a good part of their moves.
And you have the educated feet, and
yeah.
Basically, he takes out Kazarian's arms and gets some pretty good offense in there until Gunner. The ending comes like this. Gunner and Kaz are in the corner with Brian Hebner. Brian Hebner is pulling everybody out, and they as we're getting out of the corner, Gunner pokes Kaz in the eye, and then slams him into the ring post by the injured arm. Then he locks in the armbar, and Kaz taps. And Taz is like, hey, there's no shame in doing that. You got an injury, you got to get yourself looked at. And after the match, Gunner keeps going after the arm, which causes the DQ. And Gunner loses via DQ.
Because winning with a DQ means so much more than a clean victory.
Right. After the match, as Gunner is walking up the ramp, he makes the motion like, ha ha, I broke his arm. Ha ha ha.
Ugh, God. Well, I mean, again, in terms of booking, it's not a bad thing to do to take two guys you don't have nothing to do and put them together who can put on a decent match. But is anyone excited for the feud? No. But let's just...
No.
We will learn later on that night Kaz would be taken to the hospital. So I haven't seen any rumors about that injury being legit. I'm hoping it's just storyline. But if it is legit, though, we can't even give Gunner credit for using good psychology because he fucked up this dude's arm even worse. When he could have been like if Kaz was whispering him in the ring, dude, arms hurt, work leg, kick me, slam, something. Right.
But
so that was the first match. Pretty good. It would have been better had we.
If we did the same different time and different circumstances, like i.e. the Immortal Fortune first feud, that would have meant more in terms of it being there. But I can't fault it. I mean, I can't really badmouth wrestling that was decent. So
right.
Next thing.
So yeah, the next thing, and this is what I came back to with the whole Rising Titantron thing over the entrance. Believe it or not, there are three sections to this Tron. You got two side Trons, and then you've got the middle one, and all three raise up. And out comes Mr. Anderson, and instead of coming through one of the two side Trons, he comes out of the middle Tron, and it just looks so fucking epic when he does it.
Yeah, too bad it's nothing epic to be showcased like that.
Yeah, it's Mr. Anderson. He's coming down to do a promo.
And it's your usual Anderson promo. The Anderson promo B-A3. I've worked and strived and saw people kiss ass while I worked hard for the business, and I made myself here in TNA. Blah. And the guys help me out here. More Anderson crap.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you hear in an Anderson promo.
I want to apologize to my assholes.
Oh,
you know what?
We're full of jerks.
I joined Immortal in a moment of weakness.
He's not the heel that's supposed to be doing that.
You're a different. He's a different alignment. Like every 2 fucking weeks. Who cares?
But in general, he's not the character who should be doing it was a moment of weakness. He should never say that phrase. That makes him look more like a pussy. I mean, I know he's a pussy just on the basis of wrestling and how I see things, but in terms of the character he's supposed to be portraying, he's not supposed to be a pansy. Right. And say things like that.
This is all in an effort.
The purpose of the character.
This is all in an effort to bring out Bubba Ray.
And this slowly divides into, because I don't care what Bubba Ray says, but this slowly divides into, God, what was it? Oh, your fans out there are nothing but jerk-offs. It's like, no, they're assholes, jerk-offs. And the fake laughter is arguing between whether or not they like to be insulted by being called a jerk-off or an asshole. Man, that fake audience is a really self-deprecating crowd.
You know what I love about the audience for TNA? Is that no matter where they go, no matter what they do, that audience is just on the ball when it comes to responses, and they don't even have to move or open their mouths or even get up. They just sit there and take it.
Yeah, they're
audience full of ventriloquists.
Yeah, the TNA is run. If for those who don't know, the TNA is run by the Tommy Knockers.
Just so you guys know, Bubba Ray tries for some cheat. Just bless Bubba Ray's heart. He tries to get something out of the audience. He basically goes, "I'm going to head over to Nyland Stadium and take a big piss on that big orange tea."
But it
So
gets
he has
nothing
no
out of
vote.
the
he
out of the
gets nothing.
imaginary crowd.
He gets nothing out of the crowd. The imaginary one's going, oh, no, he didn't. Stewie just said that.
But this whole thing just builds up to with Anderson challenging him to a a Philadelphia no holds barred match. Why is it called a false count anywhere?
It's actually
Philadelphia false count anywhere. Thank you. Why is it called a false count anywhere match? Because it sounds cooler than just saying Philadelphia street fight. And we've used that term street fight so many times, so we need to call it a falls count anywhere match just to hide that fact out.
I want to, and Ray does not answer the challenge immediately, even though Anderson says your ego won't let you back down from this, and he backs down. Way to be that. But here's how I want this to go down at Bound for Glory. Bully Ray and Anderson start fighting. They go out into the crowd. They leave the arena, and throughout the rest of the night, they just keep fighting from location to location in Philadelphia until they finally spill back into the arena to finish the match. I know that's not going to happen.
I would like that scenario with one alternate. If I could do one edit, Iron Bite, which allow me to do one edit.
Edit it.
Okay, they start the street fight, and then they go out to the streets of Philadelphia, and then the rest of the show goes on, and then it ends. And then what happens is we learn off camera what happened, and it's just like, this happened. And that's it. We don't even give them the satisfaction of finishing on TV.
Okay, that's cool.
So basically what you're saying is that you'd rather die in a fire than watch this match.
Yeah,
well, I wouldn't say die in a fire. Like, I'd choose this over dying in a fire. But if it was a choice between getting punched in the balls and watching this match, I'd take the punch in the balls.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, but fast forwarding to, we go to commercial. I'm sorry, Byron, but I got to do one of these. I got to pull my weight. So we cut back from commercial, and we see a split screen of Rude and Storm, and they're getting ready for their matches backstage. And that's cool to show until we're reminded, until the next segment, which comes from Reaction. Reaction came back because Eric Bischoff comes out, and it just talks about his feelings about the upcoming retirement. It says it's going to be tough to deal with, and it's the end of an era. And, yeah, it's hard to stomach. Hogan's leaving.
Has anybody told Jason Harvey he can be on camera? If he wants to be an interviewer that bad, just get on camera. Get a mic, get on camera, and go, so, Eric, how are your feelings about Hogan retiring tonight? And then stick the mic in his face. Don't do this, I'm the voice of the fans. I'm not actually here. I'm giving the fans. It's like the fans are the interviewer. No.
Well, no, either that. It's either that or Jason Harvey just looks like Elephant Man.
So.
Well, you guys have to remember. You guys have to remember. He learned everything he knows from the narrator on the Wonder Years.
Really? He learned it from oh God, what's his name? Daniel Stern. So he learned everything he knows from Daniel Stern?
So we go off from Bischoff's kissing ass and stuff we don't care about to Kendrick, and Kendrick is just cutting the usual, I'm weird. I have gold around my waist. Spiritual plane. I'm a reborn king in a forgotten... You get the idea. It's just making fun of metaphysical crap. I find it insulting,
Kendrick,
but...
You know, I know Eric Young is still suffering the effects of that concussion, but Brian Kendrick, good lord,
no one checks. I mean, everyone's aware of Eric Young's condition with his concussion, but no one decides to check on Kendrick and be like, okay, let's give him a brain scan or an MRE or a psychology evaluation.
Well, they already know. No, they know. Everyone knows he's smoking pot, but there's no drug test in TNA, so no one gives a fuck.
Right. Well, somebody gives a fuck, and that person is Kid Cash.
And Kid Cash just continues like, are you talking shit about me? Are you talking shit about me? Say it to my face. It's like, well, man, if that's pretty... And then kicks the shit out of him and shuts him up. And it's to be revealed that Kendrick's not even wearing shoes.
Yeah, Kid Cash beats the ever-loving shit out of Brian Kendrick.
And this makes me think one thing. Do you think they're going to start doing, like, if, God willing, this happens. Say they have like the X Division, since they make it its own self-contained thing, and they have like one X Division feud for the title, and then they have another separate feud, which would successfully showcase the roster. Like 2 X Division feuds going on. I could see it leading that way in a world that is fair and has common sense, but this is TNA.
Yeah.
Do you think it could lead that way?
I think it could, but again, this is TNA. They can fall into a pit of gold, a pit made of solid gold, and come out covered in the rawest, foulest sewage you can imagine. And you're left wondering, how the fuck did they do that? Speaking of stuff going, how the fuck did they do that? We got ourselves a Knockouts tag match.
It's Mickie James and Velvet Sky taking on the team of the Vampire Winter, who has a British accent that gives me a boner, and Madison, I Screech a Lot Rain.
I don't want to hear about your boner.
You will hear about my boner and enjoy it, mister.
The amazing thing is, this is technically a Beautiful People reunion.
Or it's hinting towards that.
Or not. And again, I go back to the super awesome aspect of the the entrances you can have with this Rising Titantron. All 3 ladies, they have all 3 Trons rise up to reveal all three of Madison, Winter, and Angelina Love.
And that was kind of cool. I'll admit that.
It was. Madison Rain doing her usual, I'm the homecoming queen in the homecoming parade.
Yeah, to credit the winner, though, just being like, fuck it, go. What? Out of my way. You're not worth my time.
Get the fuck out of my way. Are you wearing what's left of Scott Steiner's chainmail headdress? God. So, here's what we've got. We've got a failed country music star, a woman whose main goal in life is to fuck Chris Sabin.
Get well soon, Sabin.
Yes, definitely.
There's worse things that you have to admit. There's a lot worse people in the business to fuck than Chris Sabin.
Yeah, Chris Sabin's one of those guys where Chris Sabin's totally one of those guys. If he shacks up with a hot chick, I'm not gonna fault that. I like him. I think Chris Sabin deserves the best.
Bless your heart, Chris Sabin. If anybody's got to fuck Velvet Sky, it might as well be you. Versus the lesbian vampire witch with her lesbian zombie pirate whore and the prom queen.
Oh God.
That's the lineup we've got.
I will say though, this was a good match.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, for everybody playing their individual parts, it was legitimately a good match. Towards the end, it got stupid, but I think it's like with any. We've been talking about this like many times before we got on the air, but I deducted that with any Winter and Mickie James match directly. The opening lockup is always the best part of that match. It's always performed and executed really well, and it's even-handed. And then there's some other moves that go really well. And then towards the middle and the end that's where everything starts to deteriorate. And that's just them singly. And this kind of happened in this match, even though I think Madison Rain had a good time to show off and Velvet played her part well. But it did fall into that. And by the way, when has Velvet Sky been from the Big Apple? I thought she was always billed from Connecticut.
I have no clue. I don't pay attention to where they build the women from. I barely pay attention to where they build the men from. This match, like we said, this was also the match where we find out that Kazarian was taken to the hospital, and apparently AJ Styles was taken with him. So yeah, this match kind of decent. We get to show off all we got to see all 4 ladies. Basically
they did something that was major, and they had time to just like do some offense and get beat down and then get back up and then get one on the other person. Because they had like Mickie and Velvet Sky legitimately did some good tag team moves.
Yeah, definitely. Like a basement drop kick. Holy crap! I don't usually see that from somebody of Velvet Sky's skill level, but she did a she did a pretty good job
I
at
can't
it.
say Velvet Sky is completely awful. I think she's actually really a good worker. It's just, what does she have to work with? Granted, though, you have, like, great workers in that company like Sarita, and I think Winter's a good talent. She hasn't been shown, and Tara can put on a good appearance. But what else does she have to work with? Like, when she had the other knockouts or was making Kong look good, she was fine. I just think it's her situation. Like, I'd like to see her go over, because this match was just booked on the fact that we need to showcase that. I mean, we need to remind you that there's going to be a match at Bound for Glory between these 4 people. But Velvet would, in common sense booking, Velvet would be the one that should go over in that match.
Right.
Do I see that happening? Absolutely not, but it probably should.
This match does have some shenanigans from Angelina. She trips up Velvet Sky and holds her down. And just for shits and giggles, after Velvet Sky hits the sit-out pedigree on Winter, we go Earl Hebner, or was it Brian Hebner? I couldn't really tell. Is basically Madison breaks up the pin. Mickey knocks Madison out to the floor and falls out. The referee's with them, and Winter tries to whip Velvet into the ropes, and then Angelina reverses it, and Angelina trips up Winter and holds her down. And she's looking over at Hebner, and it's like, and I'm looking at going, you're not paying any type of attention. Meanwhile, Velvet Sky is beating the shit out of Winter, and then once Angelina figures that out, it's like, oh shit, and then she jumps up on the apron and goes, and gets knocked the fuck out by Velvet.
Which doesn't need to happen, because Velvet Sky, all she needed to do was hit that power move, get the 3 count, and that put her over.
Right. Unfortunately, Madison somehow tags herself in, rolls Velvet up, and gets the 1, 2, 3 via roll up. Not the I fall down, not the whatever other finisher she had. Just roll up.
Do you hear that sound? Do you hear that sound? That's the sound of Genghis screaming. That's the sound of Genghis screaming bloody murder.
And not knowing why.
We love you, Genghis.
Jeff Hardy is arriving to the arena.
Okay, I have to be honest. We really have to talk about the Jeff Hardy segment, because I really do not want to give credit to that segment.
Yes,
I'm not even honestly joking. I do not want to give credit to that segment. That's just it's fucking vile.
We need to fucking talk about that segment, because it's my favorite segment of the night. We come back from commercial break after another Hogan clip that we've seen. Kurt Angle is basically going nuts at Eric Bischoff, going, why did Hardy show up? I told him never to show up. And Bischoff is like, Mr. Angle? Why Mr. Angle? Mr. Angle, I'll take care of this. And you know what? This is going to be fun. Hello?
Magpie, mute your shit.
Oh, Magpie. All right. This segment is Eric Bischoff basically telling Jeff Hardy to go away and never return. However, we have some stupidity, and I'm going to point out the one thing that that stood out for me for this. Eric Bischoff said Kurt Angle paved the way for Jeff Hardy.
Now, arguably, in logic, though, Kurt Angle is the better wrestler out of Hardy and Angle. He's the best wrestler. Did he pave the way? And was he in the business as long? No.
No.
Like, I don't like Jeff Hardy, but Jeff Hardy was in that business longer.
Okay. Yes, Jeff Hardy dropped the fucking ball at Victory Road. Not that it was all of his fault. Eric Bischoff forcing him to go out while he was coked out of his mind. But Kurt Angle has not been in the business long enough to pave the way for guys like Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy has been in there since he was 16. No, wait, that's Shannon. 18. And it's just like going, what the fuck, Bischoff? You know this. You have to know this. for you to go out and say that sort of stuff is just, it's just,
It's just one of I don't like this angle just on the sole purpose of. I stated it before on another Dark Match episode, but they go from not acknowledging Jeff Hardy's whatever they did and embarrassing the company to try to making money off of it because it was controversial, and now they're trying to fully admit everything that happened just so they can just have a good triumphant moment, profiteer off of what happened, and then probably have a success story which is going to fall in their hands. And also, if they're going to – okay, why the big Titantron thing? The big Titantron thing pulls up. Why are you – and it has Hardy's face all over the place and his pictures. Why are you going to showcase and kiss that guy's ass when you publicly embarrassed your company even further than it could have been embarrassed before? Like, Jeff Hardy took TNA's reputation and then went below bottom, and you're going to give this guy a fucking blowjob and that much publicity? I'm sorry. I'm sympathetic to addicts. I grew up around things like that, but this guy embarrassed your company. Fuck Jeff Hardy. I'm sick of the fact that this guy is able to fuck up on this many proportions and still be showcased in wrestling as a prominent thing. Whatever vice. Like, you can say he's getting humiliated because on a wrestling show, they're bringing up his addictions, but it's fucking bullshit. And I don't like how he's getting scratched by this, and it's fucking appalling. And I honestly really did not want to talk about this. Like, I wasn't even doing, like, the comedic battle thing. I'm fucking sick of Jeff Hardy. This is a guy I looked up as a kid, but this is bullshit. I'm sick of him just being able to trot by. And I'm done talking about this. Let's just move on.
I'm just going to finish this up. Jeff basically says he's got something to get off his chest, gives Bischoff the twist of fate, screams "screw you" at him, runs out to the crowd and nearly loses his wallet because, you know, the moron has it on a fucking chain that gets caught up on the barrier, and he escapes through the crowd. So we get to the next match after, you know.
What next match?
The next match is Crimson versus Joe.
What? No, that didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Oh, it happened, No Leaf.
No,
I'm
no.
sorry, it happened, Magpie.
It did not happen, Joe.
Happened.
Joe was having an awesome. He was having a great match with. He was having a great match with Doug Williams, and it was very technical and awesome.
It's happening again.
No, Joe is still amazing.
Call the men in the white coats. Call the men in the white coats.
No, it was still an amazing match. I mean,
actually,
it was great. You have to see Samoa Joe.
Guys, what if No Leaf really is Magpie?
No, it's not. Joe happened.
Wait, I'm not.
And I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you lying about Samoa Joe. He is still amazing and great. And you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm out of here. Fuck it. You finish the show, Iron Bite.
I made a mistake. No Leaf is Revolver Man.
Right.
You finish the show. I'm sick of you lying about Samoa Joe.
All right, you do that.
All right, fine. I'm out of here, and I'm taking my shows with me.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really leaving. I really will.
Leave already. God, you're like a 5-year-old.
I see what you did there.
Unfortunately,
should have saved that for tomorrow.
Yeah, we should have. This match is Joe versus Crimson, and this match sucked.
This is a match that they really they wanted to build up this whole Joe versus Crimson thing. It should have been saved for Bound for Glory and not just thrown away on TV. Then again, do we really want Crimson versus Joe on a pay-per-view?
Well, Lone Warrior, I gotta ask you, because this is actually probably our first time having any type of extended interaction. Have you ever watched TNA?
Yeah, I know. I'm applying logic to TNA. My bad.
Right. I mean, no, it's not just that. TNA, for whatever reason, does not exist to sell pay-per-views. Bischoff is very, very adamant over the fact that he's not trying to build pay-per-views. He just wants to tell stories, which is stupid because you're a wrestling company and you should be building pay-per-views. So they will throw title changes. They will throw they'll throw story twists. They will throw away great matches on paper on free TV for no reason, and this is the same thing. Crimson versus Samoa Joe should be taking place at Bound for Glory. It should not be taking place on free TV where you have where you have the possibility of Crimson's winning streak. I don't know why they're hyping that. Snapped on free TV. You want to have that happen? Well, actually, that's a very interesting. I'll have to think about that for a second. I gotta say, Joe just does not give a fuck. As our colleague Magpie would tell you, he is probably the world's greatest Joe fan, and to see Joe in this position is just terrible.
The ending's kind of bad too, because I'm like, this is just going off of memory from last night, but Joe was pretty much in control for a good chunk of the match, and then it ends in a freaking roll-up.
Yeah, you're completely right.
Yet
Apparently
again,
Joe
Genius is screaming.
Joe previously in the match, as we all know, to get Crimson out of the Bound for Glory series, they had Joe attack Crimson and injure his ankle and give him a hairline fracture of the ankle, which got him out of the Bound for Glory series. He's fine now, even though it happened about a month ago. But he re-injures the ankle somehow, and he's got him set up for what they're calling the heel hook, which Joe has the injured limb underneath his armpit, and Taz is going on and on about how, oh man, he's got him in the heel hook. This is a new submission from Samoa Joe, and all he's got to do is he's just got to turn Crimson over. But
He's
right now, he's squeezing that ankle, and this is the laziest submission I have ever seen.
He's basically standing there with his leg under with Crimson's leg under his arm, going, And
it's like when you play wrestle with your partner. You're not really trying to hurt them. You're just goofing off. That's what this was like. Only it was TV and people were getting paid to do it.
Right. Crimson starts kicking Joe with his free leg. Joe screams at him that he's a bitch and spits on him, and then gets rolled up out of nowhere. Genghis is screaming, and he doesn't know why. I'm screaming.
During the roll-up, you could kind of see, it was like Joe wasn't on his shoulders. He was maybe on one, and then he rolled slightly onto the other one. It was like, it just didn't look like a very good roll-up.
No, because...
Actually, I seem to remember him being only on one shoulder.
Oh, great. So he was counted out. The pin was counted on one shoulder. Gee. I wonder why.
But yeah, he doesn't care.
He doesn't give a fuck.
He'll make a mad face afterwards, though. So. Yeah,
he will make a mad face as Crimson's like, I'm still undefeated. Like, that's a big fucking accomplishment. So we go to the back where Bully Ray basically says Anderson is either crazy or he has balls the size of basketballs. And I go, can it be both? And Ray basically
technically, if you have balls the size of basketballs, shouldn't you get that shit checked out?
You should.
Yeah, go to Sabu. He'll give you painkillers.
Ray basically says, I started my career in Philadelphia, and I'll end Anderson's there. Because screw you, screw Philadelphia. I'm Bully Ray, and I'm from New York City. And he puts on the Yankees skull cap. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care, Bully Ray.
It's not a feud that's... It's great that they're trying to make this, this huge thing between them, but does anyone really care?
No, I don't. I don't care because, we go to the back after commercial break where James Storm, and we have a promo from James Storm, which basically is a rehash of the promo we had at the start of the match, and he makes fun of Bobby's about Bobby Roode's catchphrase, which he says, And he says, Bobby walks around saying it pays to be rude, but I forgot my wallet. Sorry about your damn luck. Little corny, but it's okay. We actually have a video package highlighting Bobby Roode, which
was pretty good. I mean, it was interesting.
It was very well put together. It basically highlights Bobby Roode's career, and he says through the good times and the bad times, and the good times are showing stuff with Scott D'Amore and Team Canada. And I go, and as I was watching that, I go, those were the good times.
Well, there can't be enough love for Scott D'Amore. I didn't even watch it, and yet, like, the few videos I've seen with him, like, any instance, like, just hearing about, like, his contribution to the company overall, like, including his booking of the Knockouts division, he can't be celebrated enough.
No, I miss him so much. We then find out that Bobby Roode is actually Bobby Roode Jr. because his dad is named Bob. So he's Robert Roode Jr. Just food for thought, guys. Because this promo is basically Bobby. This promo should not play until next week. It's a week early, and it's basically highlighting the fact that Bobby Roode wants the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay.
I wonder if they're gonna go in for like a massive screw with this result. Like I really do wonder if he's gonna win. Me and Magpie, we did discuss this before the show. We kind of want, and unfortunately he's not here because he's off raging about Samoa Joe. I hope he doesn't burn down another town. Or another desk.
Oh,
yeah, he's going to have to duct tape his desk again.
Damn it. So we have our main event, semi-main event, with the hometown hero, James Storm, versus Bobby Roode. This is big man versus big man. And generally, these type of matches, I'm not a fan of unless it's certain people. But they do a pretty damn good job of bringing. They definitely tell the story of we're tag team partners. We really, really know each other very fucking well. Storm goes for the last call, super kick. Roode's like, ha ha ha, no. Roode goes for the Fujiwara armbar. Storm is like, and yeah, it's just.
It was a really good match.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good match, marred by a shitty fucking finish.
Isn't that kind of the story of TNA's entire existence?
Yeah, to be fair, it's a TNA main event. It's not surprising anymore,
kinda is.
Which is sad.
We also had a disjointed "This is awesome" chant, but yeah. The finish comes. Kurt Angle in this fucking weird ass military-esque shirt. I don't know where the fuck he got it. Comes down, and after Storm, Roode, and Brian Hebner bash heads, and then Angle, Storm rolls to the outside, holding his head, and then Angle throws him headfirst into the steel steps, and then throws him back in. And as Roode goes to cover Storm, Brian Hebner goes one, then moves James Storm's arm, two, and then no,
long
and then
pause
out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool to see that. Okay, well, this match still goes on. Roode picks up Storm. Storm shoves him away, goes for the last call, but then kind of just goes down to one knee, and he's holding his head like, whoa, I'm kind of dizzy. This allows Roode to grab him and hit the Fisherman suplex, which apparently is the payoff. Okay. And holds him down for the 1, 2, 3. Roode wins. He has beaten all of Fortune. Except for Super Mecha Roode, but that's next week. We go to commercial break.
That flew over my head.
Yeah, I know.
Was that a Godzilla reference? I feel like that was a Godzilla reference.
It kind of was. It was actually a South Park reference, and also possibly a
now that you
video game nerd reference. I'm not sure. I'm trying to do different things here because I don't want to talk about fucking Hulk Hogan. I went out and I walked my dog for this to try to avoid the beginning of this promo.
Eldon Wayne Hulk Hogan. I'll throw in my own reference.
This segment. My God, this segment. The crowd is eating this up. Well, the fake crowd is anyways. The real crowd couldn't care. It couldn't give a shit.
It's really bad how obvious the piped-in crowd is. Because at least you watch SmackDown, and everyone knows SmackDown pipes and cheers and shit.
But at least the crowd looks somewhat active. I mean, it's not as active as it sounds, but at least there's somebody going, yeah. And you're pretty sure they're not plants?
Yeah.
This crowd was just so fucking... Not even the retirement of Hulk Hogan could stir these people. And Hulk Hogan basically says, it's an amazing 30-year run, brother. Oh, but you know what? Sometimes I just gotta stop. Sometimes you just gotta know when to quit. And let me tell you, brother, I feel so much love that it feels like this is the first day of my business. And out comes Andre the Giant to go get me some beer, bitch. But, no, that does not happen.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, zombie Andre the Giant coming back to demand Hulk Hogan go run out and get him some beer.
Well, see, actually, one of my ideas about TNA Impact was that, I mean, screw the old stars that are still alive. They'll just line the Impact Zone with coffins. Steve Williams, Umaga, one died within the last 2 or 3 years, Lance Cage.
Chris Benoit?
Guys. I think I have to bring, before we move on, I think I have to bring something back. Darkest sketch!
We're getting into that territory. Hogan says, "Oh, I've got one thing left to say brother." And here comes crazy. Here comes the Joker. I mean, Sting.
Oh no! And he comes out in that the suit was just bad. This is the first time when I had been watching. This was the first time my mom had seen any wrestling in God knows how long. She was asking me why the hell that man was dressed up like the Joker. So,
you know what? I can't. What? Think of Sting when he first showed up. Okay, he was Surfer Sting. Then he moved on to Crow Sting, and that was his gimmick for a good, I want to say, about 15 years. Can anybody back me up on that?
He became Crow Sting in '97, so
about
13 or so.
Yeah, 13 years. Now he's Joker Sting, and I just hearing that voice with that makeup, it's just so goddamn jarring. But Sting does have a reason. Sting has a reason to come out. But Hogan's like, "You're not welcome here, Sting. You're not going to turn this into a clown show, brother." And Sting's like, "I'm sorry, Hogan, but I've got to bring some rain to this evening. Is anybody buying this retirement crap?" And this is when the crowd does react. And reacts the way, boos. I'm not sure if they're booing Sting. I'm not sure if they're booing Hogan. But, yeah, there's boos, and it's actually from the crowd, so yay, there's no piped-in Stings. But Sting basically says, I've become so jaded, but, it's amazing how many cameras are everywhere these days, and nothing is sacred, and, there's even cameras around here. So I'm going to show some footage, and you know what? I'll leave after I play some footage. Oh, the games are over, brother. And Sting goes, "Hey, guys in the back, play the footage." Now, remember, folks, Hogan, Bischoff, Flair are supposedly in charge of this company.
Why are they
Sting
listening
should-
to Sting?
Exactly. But the footage, which is GTV-esque camera footage, is Hogan and Bischoff basically going, ha ha, they bought it, ha ha.
Or like
ha.
TV footage.
Gee.
Like I just don't. Why did Sting think Doug something up in the bathroom? Or,
I mean,
They did. They
It's-
were
why do they even
like-
put cameras in the bathroom?
did he go to Best Buy and say, "Look, I'm gonna need a surveillance camera, a complicated editing system. I'm gonna need a nice boom mic so I can record all this shit."
I just realized you're right. This was in the bathroom. They shot this in the bathroom. They couldn't even go and grab an office. They shot this in the fucking. Oh God. Bischoff and Hogan basically put over the fact that they pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. You know, everybody's eyes who's got no. So basically, they pulled the wolves over Terry Schiavo's eyes. Oh, darkest sketch.
Yeah.
Darkest sketch. The basic premise is this: is to get the folks in Nashville to actually show some emotion, which to their credit they kind of do. And then Hogan's like, "Cut the footage, brother! Cut the footage! Cut it! Cut it! Cut it!" And they cut the footage and say, "All right, that's it. I'm so damn sick of you, Sting. You know what? I don't want to wrestle you, but you know what? I'll fight you at Bound for Glory, and if you win, I'll give the company back to Dixie Carter."
And the second he says that, he gets this look on his face like, uh-oh.
Oh shit! And Sting's like,
I
"Yep, I got what I wanted. Ta-ta for now."
It's like The Price is Right sound. Bum, 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 bum.
Wah.
Well,
Ba-dum-ba-bum. Oh my God! Okay, granted this isn't the end of the show, but Spike TV does allow a little bit of overrun with Impact. They've started to do this. The show ends with Sting getting out of the ring, and that's it. They don't even go back to Hogan and going, "Oh shit, what the fuck did I just do?" And having Tenay and Taz go, "Oh my God, this is amazing. We're going to see Sting versus Hogan, but if Hogan loses, Mike, then Dixie Carter's back in charge. Tune in next week, folks. We gotta go." There's nothing like that. It's just, no, I got what I wanted. Bye. Cut. Go show a rerun of CSI. There's no time to digest this. There's no time to go get us in the proper mindset. It's just, okay, whatever. Don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's just, it's been obvious this is what they've been building up to, but still, just start setting the match up 2 weeks before the pay-per-view instead of like a month or even earlier to, give it the proper build. It's this big thing, this big rematch not seen since 1997, and does anyone care?
No,
No,
probably
I
not.
don't
But like the only really positive thing we could say about it is that at least it isn't ending on the Knockouts getting a new champion from a lockbox.
That's true.
Worst things are
actually,
true.
to be fair, I actually do have to say this because this is something TNA has not done really. At least this match wasn't set up 3 days before the pay-per-view. At least you get a week of build for the dirt sheets and the wrestling sites to talk about it instead of in 3 days we'll have Hogan versus Sting and the company's on the line. No, now you actually have a build. It's not much of a build, but it's a build. Okay. But
Yeah, I mean, a week is still better than, no build at all, but at the same time.
But and I know that this is the end of Impact, but I still got to talk about this because it is so fucking stupid. Hogan can't take a bump. His doctors have said this. Everyone has said this. Yet he still wants to fucking wrestle. What's the point? Was there actually that big of a clamor for Hulk Hogan, professional wrestler? No, there really wasn't. This is Hogan's ego. And as Magpie said at the beginning of the show, we're used to TNA stroking Hogan's dick. And I did want to say this. Hogan gets $35,000 an appearance. So he is projected to make over $2 million this year. $35,000 an appearance. Who the fuck negotiated that? Whoever it is, can you negotiate me to go appear at my local Walmart for $10,000 an appearance? I will be at that fucking place every single fucking day. Okay.
Work overtime also.
Yeah, and the other thing is, the logical conclusion of this is Sting wins, Dixie comes back, the evil regime is ousted. But if Hogan and Bischoff have signed their contract for another year, are they just going to take him off TV, or is Hogan still going to be around, or are they going to fuck this up royally? Okay,
Again,
it's TNA probably.
Yeah, it's TNA. It's probably going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that next week will be the penultimate show for Bound for Glory, and this is their WrestleMania. Okay, this is their biggest show of the year. This is supposed to be the show that they've been building up for, that they had an entire worthless tournament for, that ultimately meant nothing. Again, we're going to Bound for Glory, and to be honest with you guys, I don't really have any type of confidence going into Bound for Glory. I really don't.
I'm fully anticipating that Bound for Glory is going to be a clusterfuck of epic proportions. As a matter of fact, on our schedule, I actually said be prepared for a clusterfuck of epic proportions. So, yeah.
And
something to look forward to, folks.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out and say, yeah, this is gonna be another one of our. This is gonna be our second Victory Road-esque episodes. But at the same time, folks, look for it because it might happen.
Don't be surprised. Yes.
Right. So that was TNA Impact for October the 6th, 2011. Do we want to do what gets more screen time than Jay Lethal?
Yes.
Okay. So, let's get into everybody's favorite segment. What gets more screen time than Jay Lethal? I will begin. What gets more screen time than Jay Lethal? Why? Jeff Hardy's wallet gets more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Shitty standing arm bars for finishes get more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Shitty standing leg bars get more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Angry Samoan faces get more screen time than Jay Lethal.
You know what?
That's a good first one.
That's actually a pretty good. That's pretty
good for your first one.
So, like I said, that's the dark match for TNA Impact. I am Ironbite Dash. Hope you folks enjoyed it.
I'm Christopher Says. For some reason.
Yeah.
I'm no leaf Plover, and I'm not even supposed to be here today.
No, just said that.
I'm Lone Warrior, and hey, something shiny.
Yeah. Good night.
Where? Is it a nickel? I want a nickel. Someone give me a nickel.
You can't have it. It's my nickel.
Good night, and good luck. You'll need it. Play the damn end music.